And, and all right, everybody, this is Dre Tattoo Squid Podcast, and we're here with the oh, son of a bitch. My whole brain is fried already. The inventable. Will you introduce yourself, please? Save me some grace here.
Dre is here with Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable, which is a sci fi rewatch podcast where we mostly focus on single season science fiction television shows that were canceled before their time. That wasn't originally our design, that's just sort of where we ended up. So,
Aha.
Firefly, Cowboy Bebop, those kinds of shows, that's generally what our show covers. And we do a lot of sci-fi. We've done a mini season where we did a bunch of movies and things like that. So it's a sci-fi podcast in general, but
Yeah,
like I said, we've almost exclusively covered single season shows that we feel should have more than one season. So
like
we're in
Cowboy
our
Bebop.
currently in our third season. Yes, we are currently in our third season, and we are covering the live action Cowboy Bebop because that got canceled like 3 weeks after it came out, and
Yeah,
that to me is just impossibly messed up in so many ways. So we figured, let's do what we do. Let's share some of our love. Let's get the love for this show out
yeah,
there in people's faces, in people's ears. Let's give the people that love it a place to come together and talk about how much they love it. So that's kind
yeah.
of what we're focused on. We wanted to do that with Firefly as well because my best friend, I had he had never seen Firefly. So I
Ah,
was like,
yeah,
dude, are you kidding
yeah,
me? Like, we're going to take you through the series one at a time and then make you watch the movie. And
yeah,
we did, and he loved it. So after that, I was like, okay, so did you love it? And he went, I loved it. Okay. So I went, now you got to watch Cowboy Bebop because I bet you're going to love that too. And he really liked the anime. So
yeah.
when the live action series came out, I was really excited because I'm like, you guys, let's watch the live action series together. And then we all watched it and we loved it. And then it got canceled, and we are like, what do
No.
we do? We have like we I guess we have to just cover this show now because
Yeah,
we had a plan for season 3 to be something entirely different. It was going to be another anime, and we were like, you know what, this feels right. Let's just do it. Let's
yeah,
go for it. So
definitely.
that's who I am and where I came from. And thank you for
Yeah,
having me, Dre. I gotta say.
yeah. No problem. Believe me, I had like all right, let me tell my little story of why my brain has been clusterfucked. Uh, Yesterday I wanted to go and get my oil changed in my car. It's human qualities, So you get your oil change, and then the guy goes in there, and you know how it is. You go in there, you just want to get one simple fucking thing done. Then they turn around and say, "Hey,
You
you're
need
going to
this, you
need
need
this and
that.
this and this and this and then this. Oh, by the way, it needs an arm and a leg and a foot." And then, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Motherfuck me. And I'm like, all right, well, how much are we looking at here? And it's like, oh, about like 1,700 to $2,000. I'm like, I'm trying to save for a fucking house, And so, long story short, so I'm like, all right, well, let me go and get this one thing done. They said it was like 250. I'm like, all right, I'll bring it by today. So I bring it down there. The guy assured me, that it was going to get done, which is fine. I'm like, all right, it's going to get done. Then all of a sudden, after it's like, oh, well, your axle is not put on right. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, I had this for 2 years. I had no fucking problems. Now you're telling me this now. Well, in any case, so it turned out to be like, like near $400. So that's why my brain was like fried because I wasn't sure when I was going to get my car back. And then I got it back like not even within an hour of the show. So that's why I forgot the name of the name of your show, the thing. I know it's inevitable. I just
Dude,
forgot we call it the whole thing.
dude, you're totally good. And we so that's sort of I don't know. That's like one of the cheeky things about me, right? Like I called the show sudden but inevitable because it's not easy to say. Like
Yeah,
it's the kind of phrasing that sticks in people's heads, right? And if you've seen Firefly,
yeah,
curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. So
yeah.
it's a funny thing, but dude, trust me, you are not the first person to run into like, why is your show such a ridiculous phrase to say? Because every time we go somewhere that somebody hasn't been on the show or they haven't seen us before, it's like,
Yeah.
man, why is this such a long phrase? And I totally get it. But do you find that podcasting, because for me, podcasting really provides that focal point, like because I mean, everybody has those issues, right? Like, I've
Yeah.
got stuff going on with my car too. It's funny that you would say that, but it's like this intermittent problem that can't be nailed down. I can't replicate it. I can't tell anybody what it is. The engine won't throw a code for it. So it's like,
Yeah.
there is a problem, but I don't know what it is, and I don't want to go, hey, can I write you a blank check to tell me what the problem might be or
Yeah.
might
Right.
not be? So,
I
but
wish I
it's
had
like,
a blank check.
oh, dude, I can't. It's like there is no emotional allowance for car stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
mechanics don't care. They're like, this will just be $1,500, and you're like, but like, that's a that's rude. Like, why would you say that to me? And they're like, no, dude, it's just $1,500, and I get it. It's not personal, but something when it's your car, it always feels personal. Is that just
Yeah.
me, or is that something that you get? I
It,
feel
it,
personal when they're like, your
yeah.
car is
It's like you're
breaking.
working on your significant other. You know, it's like, listen, it's like something's wrong here. It's almost like a cross between Bionic Man and fixing your car. You know,
Right.
it's like there's something wrong here, but we can rebuild them. And make them stronger
100%.
and faster. But it's going to cost $1 million fucking dollars. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. But
But podcasting for me provides that thing where I can go, you know what? I'm not gonna think about that right now. I'm gonna just focus on whatever thing is going on because I do like, for me it's an escape, right? Like, I have to get
yeah,
away from all the stuff that I'm dealing with all day, like at work and that kind of thing. So it's like I think that that's my favorite part of the hobby. I mean,
yeah,
outside of probably like, I mean, obviously meeting cool new people is the number one fun thing about this hobby.
yeah,
But I think the other thing that's fun about this hobby is just like you said, being able to take an hour to just be like, ah, I'm not gonna think about that stuff. It's on my
yeah.
mind, but I'm gonna push it to the side and just
Or
breathe.
even
And yeah,
or even if you think about it and you just want to fucking just blow some steam and shit. That's what I did like from the beginning, for the first
exactly.
season. I'm like, fuck, I'll just talk whatever. You know. I was like, I'll talk about
So,
this and this and see what happens.
have you found that to be pretty therapeutic then? Being like just having a place to just,
It
not for lack of a better term, but not complain, but to rant, like you said, blow off steam.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic, therapeutic, and to the point where you don't have to go and pay a fucking therapist. You just do the shit yourself. So you kind of like revamp yourself into, okay, I got a consciousness of something. It's actually like being in an anime. We call it, like Ghost in the Shell. You
Oh,
know,
nice.
you're a robot. You're not a real robot, but you're a human. But you have robot parts, but you can be able to talk to somebody without even speaking it and getting into other people's heads like other robots. Like telepathy, but it's more electronic.
Instant connection. And
Yeah. So
there's also that aspect of like, you everybody can see the outside part of the machine that you build, right? Like the person that you are,
yeah,
but nobody gets to see the ghost inside the machine, which is pulling all the levers and moving all the gears and going, here's how I want this machine to function, here's how I want it to operate, these are the things I want to do. So you really do get that, there's that disconnect, like, in control and what people actually see, because
yeah,
everything that goes into making a show or presenting a brand, or
yeah,
making a podcast, that kind of a thing. But like, anybody that's not doing that, and I'm not saying that people that don't make podcasts are worse or anything. I just mean like the creative process in general
mhm,
really gives you access to that kind of disconnect between the mental and the physical of it. And I think that, I mean, that space right there, that's where the magic happens, right? I think that's a
yeah.
big part of what Ghost in the Shell is about. I'm glad you brought up Ghost in the Shell. I love Ghost in the Shell.
Well, the thing is, because the reason I say about Ghost in the Shell, because I always have I don't know. Whenever I see, anime stuff, whether it's Dragon Ball Z, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Inuyasha, like all the older stuff, and then all of a sudden they want to make movies out of it or TV series. I'm always thanks. I'm always looking at the idiosyncrasies of the show. Are they gonna make it the same way? Are they gonna do like Ghost in the Shell was like, great special effects and all that, but I'm like, oh, you have like unknown fucking people playing it, not like well-known actors. Like, oh, we're gonna I want to do this because I love the thing. I'm like, yeah, but some people don't want you to be in the fucking movie, because
Yeah.
you're gonna make it more than what it is. And
Or
then
you're gonna make it fundamentally not what it was meant to be.
exactly,
Like you'll change the spirit of it. Yeah.
yeah. It's like you want to you're enjoying yourself, but then you're like, oh wait, this is not part of the all right, like also like GI Joe, which is not an anime,
Mm,
but my whole point of that one is like you watch GI Joe like the movie. Now you followed GI Joe cartoons, like everybody has. If they say they
right.
didn't, then they're like, listen, we were kind of young, we didn't know what the fuck we were looking at. I'm like, listen, PSA fucking announcements were fucking awesome back then, but
Knowledge
um
is power.
yeah, and then they tell you, you learn from that. You're like, listen, don't put your hand in the fucking fire or you're gonna get fucking burned. And here, 911, call that fucking number. Well, anyway, so uh when you watch the cartoons and you know every aspect of what episode it is, and then every character, then all of a sudden you'll watch the movie, they throw everything into said movie. You're like, whoa, why is this guy in the movie when the shit didn't come out until farther back? You know, I mean, I'm getting into my nerd mode, but
No, that's
yeah,
the good mode to be in. But when
yeah,
and you get it, like, okay, I know that they put that in there because they wanted to have it in the movie, but
yeah,
really they should have waited till like the third or fourth movie, but they didn't know if they were gonna get a third or
exactly.
fourth movie. But yeah, so it's to me, I feel like that's the easiest way to tell if something was made with love or if something was made for money, right?
Yeah,
And
I think it's more
I
money.
mean,
Yeah,
so many things, man. So many things are made for money. Everything
exactly.
is made for money, right? Everything is made for money. So for me, like that's a good indicator.
Yeah,
I'm really glad that you brought that up. That's a good indicator of, was this a money grab or was this somebody who loved this property going, I want to bring this to a new audience?
yeah,
Because I just purely for example, Cowboy Bebop, I feel like the live action Cowboy Bebop, you can tell, is made by people who love the original,
yeah,
and they took
exactly.
all of the tonal idiosyncrasies that you were mentioning and they
Yeah,
put them there. They use the DNA of the thing to create something new and recognizable at the same time. And still people complained, and
yeah,
apparently to the point where Netflix gave it 3 weeks. It blows my mind. But I think you really hit on something there. That seems to be a key difference between the cash grab and the passion project.
yeah. Well, like me and my girlfriend were watching the Cowboy Bebop, and she's never seen like you were talking about, like your friend never seen the cartoon, which she never seen the cartoon, but she heard about it, and I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Yep.
And then we're watching the series, and she loved the series, and she's waiting for like this next one, and I'm like, and I look at the thing, I'm like, it's been canceled. She goes, the fuck you talking about? We just got into it. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now me looking at the series, and I'm looking for like what kind of shit that they fucking put in there that's gonna fucking turn out shitty. And nothing. There was nothing there that turned out shit. It was on point.
Thank you.
It was like you had,
100%.
I can't remember the names, but like they got the guy that's robotic with the bounty hunters.
Jet with the arm. Yep.
Yeah, they got the bounty hunters down. They have the girl down, the thief. The actual vehicles, the jets. The barge that they fly in. Where they go and everything else. And he smokes a lot, and he's smoking, and the noodles.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
Yes.
the fucking ramen noodles, which now I want to fucking have ramen noodles. Get a guy in the fucking cabinet. you know.
Yes.
And I think she doesn't know why I like ramen noodles, and that's the reason why. but
Oh
but
man.
but
This is
um,
amazing, man.
especially with the painting in the back of said vehicle that you have on your wall. Right there.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, we
okay,
so that's really funny that you would bring that up. One of our guys on our show actually eats ramen noodles through every episode. So we do our show live. and one guy finishes a thing of instant noodles once per episode on our show this season in honor of
Yeah,
Spike and his noodles on the show. And
yeah.
but man, it makes me so happy to hear you say that, because I agree 100%. I feel like they took all of the pieces that they needed, they translated them perfectly to live action, and then they just remixed everything about the series. They
Yeah,
went, this is a noir, like Pulp Fiction-y, 70s
yeah,
style kung fu space western. Just shoot it like that.
yeah.
And they did. I have zero complaints,
Oh,
almost zero complaints about the entire series.
and
Honestly, it
and the
really, I
commercial,
love
you
to
know,
hear
the
you say that.
commercial that
Go ahead.
comes up, the commercial that comes up with the,
Yeah,
like, hey, cowboys, like
the two people that are like, yeah, go, yeah,
exactly like
big
the
shots. I
fucking
love
thing.
it.
It's like they have like the hot girl. The only thing they didn't have was like halfway the boobs not hanging out. But anyway, like you're having the
She had the
cartoon.
same shirt. She just, yeah, was not. Yeah, she was not. The
Wasn't
actress that they chose
revealed the
was
way
not.
it's supposed to be. But and then
Yes.
the one episode uh with the Corey Einstein, Einie, you know,
Oh yes.
they got him down.
Yes.
They actually have Ed, like down as well. And I'm like, oh shit, wow, that is fucking uncanny. And I'm like, I want to see more
Yeah.
of this, but no, they had to cancel it. I'm like, Netflix, why? Why the fuck, man?
You
I'm
do.
like,
And if you follow me on Twitter at Sudden Butt, you will see me spouting the hashtag Save Cowboy Bebop. One of the things that I'm really excited about is that we actually follow and are followed by the owner of the two corgis that played Ein on the show in real life. So like we will tweet things about Cowboy Bebop and we'll get retweeted by the actual corgi from Cowboy Bebop. And it's the coolest thing in the world.
oh, that corgi. Which I'm like, thinking of just we're thinking of getting a dog as it is, and I'm like, we just get a corgi, you know, we just call him Ein, but then we're gonna call him Dude anyway, so, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
just imagine having a dog named Dude, like, hey, hey, dude, dude,
It would be, and you could use that to get out of so many things. Like you're
yeah,
on the phone with your boss and you go, "Dude, oh my, okay, all right, sorry, this dude is freaking out. I gotta go."
yeah, especially you're going
It's
to get
like
mad, you're like, dude,
they would never know.
yeah, it's like, really, dude, on the floor,
Dude, on the carpet,
on
seriously?
the
Yeah.
carpet, yeah. And then I hear my girlfriend going, dude did it again. I'm like, ah. And then
But
you
then
go
you'd
to
have
the
to go,
vet.
is she talking about me or the dog now?
Yeah. No, no, she doesn't call me. She goes, listen, dumbass. And then she calls me that. So then I know, I'm like, okay, dumbass. Yeah. But and then I was like, okay, then imagine we go to the vet, and the vet comes out or the assistant is like, is there a dude here? Like, yeah, the dude's right here. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we gotta stop watching the Big Labowski. We call him the dude. Yeah, but
Or watch more Big Lebowski. Either way.
there's movies I want to see that I had to like fucking pay, which I don't want to, but it should be on a
Trust me, yeah.
yeah. Like, all right, you got Big Lebowski, which is fine. That's like on Prime. You can get that anywhere. Blah blah blah. But there's a movie from back in the 80s. I'm an 80s kid. So, from like G.I. Joe to like Transformers and everything else. There's a movie that's not significant to that, but there's one called V.I. Warshawski, which was like, Kathleen Turner. She's like a private eye and she's like saucy, goes after this one guy, and then she has a friend that stays at the thing, but she's saving a kid. It's like it's so fucking good, but then other people are looking at it like, oh my god, it's so bad. I'm like, yeah, because it's not up to the
Never heard it.
standard.
Sounds pulpy as hell.
Yeah, I mean, you never
Yeah.
heard that? You never heard the
No,
show?
I've never
I
heard of
mean,
it.
oh yeah, VI run
No.
V dot I dot Wachowski, which is like WOARO ski or something. So yeah, but I don't know if you can be able to find it like on like not social media, but you can find it hopefully. But then you might have to pay like $2 or $3 or $5 or whatever. So, but I've been trying to get like look at, which I find funny as hell is like Ghostbusters Afterlife. You want to watch it on any kind of like social media. and it's like 19.99. But then you want to watch fucking Halloween Kills, that's like 5.99. I'm like, dude, really? What? This should be up there too
Well,
then with the 19.99.
but and it was free on Peacock for like a while. I gotta ask, did you watch Halloween Kills?
I couldn't because I had Peacock, but you had to pay extra. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to save up for a fucking house. I can't go and minimize myself to, which I would love to,
Okay.
but
Yeah. Did you like Halloween 2018?
oh yeah. Yeah, I like how that went
Okay.
through. And it's not gonna be just by itself and like, oh, this is the end. No, it's not gonna be the end because you read the other shit that said, oh, we're gonna have two more fucking movies. That
Right.
you
I
know,
so personally I would say if you man, I liked 90% of Halloween Kills. It's hard to talk about without spoiling the movie, so I'll leave it alone.
it's
But
not
when
like
you
you're gonna
do
spoil it. And we call they have it in the commercial. We call that's like killing like 14 people already. So that's the whole movie right there. You know?
right, but it's and there's going to be a third movie obviously,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But it's the way that I don't know, it felt like the 2018 movie was like, okay, here's just a story of a guy who doesn't need a motive, he doesn't need supernatural powers, he doesn't need any reasoning, he's just
yeah,
a freaking crazy guy who is huge and will kill you.
yeah.
Like that's terrifying enough as it is. And then I feel like most of Halloween Kills was like, yep, all that stuff still applies, and then at the end they went, but also here's some other stuff maybe. And I was
Yeah.
like, why did we do this? Like, it was
Yeah.
fine. Why? What? Okay, whatever. But like I said, if once you're done watching it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it because
Oh
I
no,
maybe I could
definitely.
be nitpicking it. It's possible.
No, no, no.
My
Everybody,
wife is a
everybody
huge
has
Halloween
their
fan, and that's why I was. Yeah.
yeah, everybody has their quirks about it. It's like, see, now my thing is okay, 2018, right? So now she has her daughter in the whole fray, like in the movie, the fray of the movie. So now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, Jamie Lee Curtis is going to die somewhere from this movie to Halloween Kills or the last movie, and the daughter is going to continue just in case if Halloween, Michael Myers comes back, because you know how it is. Friday the 13th, oh, he's dead. Yeah, boom, he comes back after 5 fucking years. Here's another 10 years. Blah,
Yeah.
and it's going to be the same way, but they want a different character that's going to bring on the process. Yeah. So it's,
Yeah. And it. I think so. For me, this is. I'll talk about a nerd digression, man. But like, for me, this is the same problem that people had with The Last Jedi, right?
yeah,
Because The Last Jedi was like, you know what? Screw telling the same story again. Like, let's change this up dramatically. Let's get rid of this big boss character in the second movie. Let's
yeah,
have these two characters be just as strong as one another. Let's have them make choices that are going to affect everybody. Like, let's give them some agency. Let's not make it about the Skywalkers. Let's just have it be a thing. Like,
yeah,
I was very excited for that. And then the third movie was like, no, it's just Star Wars. It's all about Skywalkers. Everything is fine. It's still the same bad guy. Back to
yeah,
what we had. And I was like, wow, you guys really chickened out. You really chickened out with Star Wars because nobody has the gall to go, this is the end of that part of the story. Nobody
yeah,
has the gumption to do that, apparently.
yeah,
And I was like hugely disappointed personally. And I feel like that could be probably applied to like every sort of, you know, property with a million sequels now. Like
yeah,
nobody is willing to be the one to end Halloween. Nobody is willing to be the one to end Friday the 13th. You know, that sort of thing, like definitively the last movie. And even if they did it, they would just make another movie in 10 years anyway, like you said. So it's a weird balancing act, and I feel like maybe that's why we need to your point from earlier, I feel like that's why we need to be able to pick out which ones of these things are just blatant cash grabs
yeah.
and which ones feel like they're passion projects.
Well, the thing was with Friday the 13th, you go into a like now Friday the 13th, like the movie genre of it is like not under scrutiny, but I mean under like court kind of battles, which I think the battles are done now. So I think they are going to come about to do another movie, maybe next year or something. But I would love to see that happen, because it's been years already since we've seen Friday the 13th, Jason, whatever, coming out. The last time we seen him, he was in fucking space, and that one just left a fucking bad taste in my mouth as it is, because that was so fucking stupid. And I love Friday the 13th. It's just that movie, I would not watch it again. Yeah, I'm like, good God. But I have I don't have a pet peeve. I don't have an issue with like Scream. I have a epiphany about what Scream, like the newest one, would be. I haven't seen it, but I'm my philosophy about the whole thing. Now, picture this. Now, have you seen Scream?
Yes.
Okay, so now it's probably going to be in that whole thing. So now I'm thinking Dewey. All right, so Dewey is part of a cult from beginning of the first Scream. All right, now, like I said, picture this. So now you're gonna have the two guys, Skeet Ulrich, and the other guy that was killing people
I can never remember his
from
Matthew
13
Lillard.
Ghosts. Yeah,
Matthew Lillard.
yeah, from 13 Ghosts. We call it. They start killing it, but then they die off. What if Dewey was part of that cult, but he was being in the police version to keep everything under wraps? Then
Okay.
every section of Scream comes around, Dewey's still there. He hasn't been killed, he hasn't been stabbed very mortally, and he just comes out unscathed. Then you get to the whole thing, maybe this last one, which I don't know because you've seen it, that he probably would come out saying, "Oh, I did this. It's all because I did it." Blah blah blah. Like, and he was part of this whole thing, and every person that was in that played, Ghostface was part of said, like cult.
So I will say, going in, I was convinced Matthew Lillard's character was just not dead because in the original Scream, right, they drop a TV on his face.
Yeah.
And he gets stabbed a couple times. I think he might get shot too, but he's got that where he's like, "Go woozy here," right? Like
Yeah.
he's
I'm
he's
bleeding real bad, man.
yeah, he's on his way out. And
Yeah.
then they drop the TV on his face. But
Yeah.
because it's a horror movie and we don't see his body get recovered, then we have to assume he's alive. And he was doing a lot of promotion for the movie and stuff. So I was like, oh, it's definitely Matthew Lillard, and he's like just mad, right? But then I started seeing that Skeet Ulrich was in the movie, like in the cast list, and I was like, oh, then it's definitely Skeet Ulrich, right? Like what I will say with zero spoilers is that I was really impressed as a person so I was introduced to Scream for the first time probably 9 years ago. So I never watched Scream like
Yeah.
when I was young or in high school or anything like that. But my wife is a huge Scream fan. Like Scream is her jam.
Yeah.
And so I've seen them all now. And I really appreciate them because they do have that like self-referential, this is what a horror movie would be sort of nature. I think that's pretty cool. And I feel like every version of Scream, including Scream 4, or as I like to call it, Scriform. I mean that the A was a 4
Yeah.
the art, and they should have gone with 5 cream. But I really like that they managed to pull that trick off every time. There's the Scream nature of being meta, and then they throw some kind of twist on it every time. And I think it always works, including in Scream 4. And I was impressed with Scream 5, just like I said, from a no spoiler standpoint. I was impressed with Scream 5 that they managed to do a similar thing in the vein of Scream and not have me at the beginning of the movie go, here's exactly what's going to happen. It was just like I had a good time and I was impressed. And
Yeah.
we got really lucky that there was like 2 other people in the theater and they were on the other side of the theater from us. We went like Sunday at 10 a.m. or something. So
I mean, honestly, I would love to be in a movie theater just by myself, just enjoying the whole thing.
yeah.
Like I still haven't, because the whole thing for me is that, I mean, I would love to go to movie theaters, but I want to bring my girlfriend. But now with COVID and everything, you got to do this and this and this. We're vaccinated and everything else, but it's just the fact of going to like a movie theater.
Yeah.
It
It's a risk calculation.
scares her a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I understand that. So we saw Eternals, now, Eternals, I love it. I was shocked. I was looking into it, just finding the bad shit about it. But there was like certain like, really? Okay, I don't know. But the whole thing was good. And there's gonna be a second one. So it is definitely gonna be a second one coming around. Especially we call it the Jon Snow,
Right, right. You don't hire
Yeah.
actors of that profile and then put them in one movie and say, "Oh well."
Yeah, but I mean, that his family is from something is something else, but they don't tell you, and then something fucking happens to the love interest, which is one of the Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, folks, if you're listening to this, yes, we are jumping around different shit. That's what the show is about. We just jump into different shit. That's what we call shooting the shit. It's like we're in the bar. You're not going to go in the bar and like, listen, I got a plan. I want to write down on a fucking, napkin and say, this is what I'm going to talk about. No, fuck it. You go from the hip, and that's it. So we're talking about this and we're, drinking from like little cups from, assassin sips like myself, like here, you know, which is thank you Assassin Sips for the cup and the coaster and the stickers and all that. So and also Mr. Jesse, I'll send you some stickers,
Oh, for sure.
and then you can put on your wall of cowboy, a bebop.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I have a poster board with a bunch of podcast stickers on it. I don't it's not near me because I broke the frame on it, but it used to hang right there. But yeah, and I have like a bunch of that's I gotta say, man, that's one of the best parts of having a podcast, right? Is like meet all these other cool people that are just like, I want a show to be about this. I've got stickers, I'm
Right.
not looking to make a pile of cash off of it. I just have a fun hobby show, and like there's always a fun sticker exchange
But
going on.
it
And
would be nice to have some cash.
oh man,
We're
we all
not we're
have a
not saying it's
store.
a bad thing.
Yeah, we all have a store. I mean, our show sells T-shirts. We have,
Yeah,
I think we got bandanas, or I think we have masks and stuff at our
yeah,
store.
yeah,
But it's like, it's one of those things where you don't require it for your show, right? You just go, hey, if you want us, if you would like to support us, we will
yeah,
send you a shirt in exchange for your money. Like, it's not
yeah,
like just send us money for something. But if you
yeah.
do want to just send your favorite podcaster money, go ahead. I'm sure they won't
Yeah.
complain.
Well, it's like when I did my last like my first season, and I did like the end of the first season, and I'm like, all right, I seen everybody else do this stuff with the end of season. They're gonna be like, okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a giveaway, or we're gonna do this, or we're gonna do that. And I'm like, okay, how about if I do like a giveaway? And I was gonna do like one person giveaway, put names in a hat. Everybody that follows me on Twitter that is a podcast, I put it in there, put it in a hat. And then like Halloween, which was going to be like the 100th episode, I had my friend Yolanda, and we went to like her friend's house where it has like the bookcase kind of like library feel, and we were doing the show from there. And um long story short, it was basically we were talking about Jack the Ripper, and stuff that I found out that nobody would ever know about, like 10 things you didn't know about Jack the Ripper. But she went to the location of where Jack the Ripper was and did all the killings
Wow.
in that area. So, and she did the tour. So now I'm like, all right, so I'll throw this at you. You tell me if you think it's true or whatnot, blah, 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 blah. And then we just went like that. So now then I made, instead of one person giveaway, I did like a 3-person giveaway. So, because I had comic books that I had that I never really read and didn't really like, but I know somebody's gonna like them. And then I grabbed, said, like name, and okay, this person's getting it. I'll send it to them. Then there was a friend of mine that runs a video game store, and they had all horror kind of stuff, PlayStation, Legend of Zelda, belts and all that, and Chucky hats, and put it all in a bag, and it was a Nightmare on Elm Street fucking gunny sack, you know,
Nice.
that had Freddy Krueger on the front of it, and then I put everything in there, and I'm put it in a box. I'm like, all right, I want to send this to whoever, and then another person would get a necklace from of my friend that sells like knives and swords, and knives and swords, and his wife sells like exotic jewelry, like skulls, you name whatever you want to get done, you know, that she can find it or get it done for you. And that's what I did. And I sent it out. And I mean, you're going to get like people that are like, oh, I love this. You know, like for instance, the necklace, it went to Ye Old Crime Podcast, you
Yeah.
know. So she got that necklace and she was wearing it when we did our episode, actually, which is cool.
Oh, nice.
And um and then we call it so the horror slash video games went to we call it a podcast called Dad Bods something podcast. I forgot. Believe me, if I butcher it, I'm sorry. You know, it's. But then I heard their episode and it's like, yeah, we got something from the Tattoo Squid podcast, but it's something that we don't even watch at home. You know, we don't watch horror movies. We're not into like, you know, the Legend of Zelda. That's a cool thing. And then, oh, and there was uh a Harley Quinn umbrella. You know,
Nice.
that when so they were one guy was like, I'll take the Harley Quinn umbrella. You know, that was cool. I could use like that for when it rains. And then the comic books went to a guy where I called him, you know, my cousin, because you know, his tag name was Squid Talks.
Nice.
So and then he was never really into comics, but he looked at the comics, he goes, these are fucking cool. He goes, I think I'll read these. And I'm like, and now I got somebody reading comics now. So it kind of worked out. But yeah, but the reason I say this, folks, because you know, it's like I don't care if you know, you send money, you buy something, that is great. It makes the podcast grow. And even when I do these you know, the poster you know, episode posters and all that for each one, you get to see what it is. I'm like, me, I love doing it. Like, and Jesse loves what he does, and you know, everybody else. And we just do this to have fun, you know, whether it's talking about movies, serial killers, you know, video games, you know, movies, like I said. And with me, I just do everything. It's a clusterfuck of stuff. So, you know, even Funko Pops, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, which I think you got a Lily Funko Pop.
So this is Faye Valentine
No,
in the
I got it wrong.
original Cowboy Bebop, the super fine anime gal from Cowboy Bebop. So
Yes.
this pop, as you can tell, I'm an inbox guy. This pop went way up in value when the live action show started. It's one of those things where you can't tell if it's actual value or if it's just a value that, you know, is like it's a collector app, right? And the collector
Yeah.
app goes, this is how much it's worth. And supposedly it's based on prices that people are getting on eBay and things like that. So it's supposed to be somewhat accurate. But right now, the Faye Valentine pop is listed as a $95 pop on the Funko app, which is like, obviously, I didn't pay $95 for. I paid like $8 or $9 for
Yeah.
that several years ago. But that's the fun part of collecting anything, really. But the L, wow, the L right next to her. Have you seen Death Note?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is L. Whoops, there we go. Sorry, I guess you're not seeing the toys on the camera if you're listening in podcast version. But I've
Yeah.
got an L and I've got a Faye Valentine. Both are currently running at $95 on the Funko app. That's really cool. I had no idea until I just checked that right now.
And folks, when you listen to the podcast, you can also see the podcast on YouTube.
There
We
you
call
go.
it that I do on YouTube as well. So it goes on there and you can see the whole thing. So there will be people seeing it. You know.
Perfect. Excellent. I can never tell. We have the same issue with our show because our show starts on YouTube and then becomes a podcast. So I can never tell, is this somebody going to be watching, somebody going to be listening? We do have some live viewers sometimes, so it's easy to tell. But we actually just got a negative review for the first time ever because the person listening to the podcast version was like, don't say thank you to the people in your live chat. I don't want to hear that if I'm listening in a podcast. And I'm like, uh,
Well,
get wrecked. Like we're
yeah.
always gonna say thank you to the people that show up to watch us live. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
It's not
we
just the one person, you know, it's gonna
yeah,
be, you know, many other people. So
and we had fun with it all night. We kind of were bagging on that review all night. It was pretty fun. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but we could. It's like when I started doing it, when I started doing podcasting, I did it like video wise because I didn't know
Mhm.
how to do anything with audio because
Yep.
I'm not a savvy fucking guy. I am what I am. It's like a Popeye thing. I am what I am. But I am like putting stuff together. I can try to do it if it's simple enough. IKEA fucking furniture. No, yeah. I rather buy the shit as it is and let it haul right to me. And if you want to build
Yes.
it in front of me, that's fine. But my girlfriend, she builds like most of the stuff. Yes, folks, I said this out loud. I tend to not try to, because I'm getting old. I can't get up off the fucking ground like I used to do, you know. So it's like, an old person syndrome shit, but when I was doing video, and I like being on camera, but I never figured that this face would mean somebody to be on camera. Like if somebody's gonna be like, oh, I want to watch this because this guy looks like, he's gonna make a statement. No, this face doesn't look like he's gonna make a statement. This one looks like it's just gonna be like on a milk carton, or or a cell block, we could, uh, mugshot, you know,
Buckshot. Nice.
so which there is a mugshot somewhere, and not to say, I had to run in with drinking and driving, but that was another story back in the day. But like I said, we're doing a video and audio. I had no idea, but then I had this thing called Anchor, which I think, I don't know if you have Anchor, or everybody now has Spreaker, Anchor, some other platform that they use.
Yep.
And it made it easier for me, which was great. I did the audio, boom, boom, boom. I started working on it. I did episodes like every fucking day. And I
Nice.
mean, and people look at me like, we mean every day. How can you do it every day? I'm like, listen, I go to work. It's like a vlog. I just speak my shit and I type the thing in there and I send it out and see what goes, and that's it. I wasn't looking for anything like an award or, money for that matter. I'm like, hey, you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, okay, fine, move on. Yeah. And that was it. And then now I'm like, okay, now I do everything from the second season. I'm like, I'm just going to do interviews or just talk to everybody, just whatever, just sit here. We just talk bullshit. And then we'll probably come together on a full fucking Zoom thing and it'll be a clusterfuck, because there'll be like 80 or something fucking people going on at times, like being in a bar. Excuse me,
Yeah.
excuse me. I'll have to get myself a
Nobody can
gavel.
get a drink.
Well, they can get a drink. They can drink at their own place, but it's like spaces. You can go and come in there and be some kind of person. You're like, all right, what do you want? It's like, give me a sarsaparilla and a hooker. It's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a sarsaparilla, and here comes the hooker sliding down the bar. You know, and
I mean, especially on Twitter Spaces, like you said, anybody can go into a Twitter Space.
yeah, anybody, and then it's like the only catch people for spaces when you host it, you have your choice of any 10 people that can speak. Other than that, everybody else that comes in is a listener. So they listen, they like it, and whatever. You can grow a following. I mean, the one person you could really talk to about it was that, or is Pixie. Because she's like the standard bearer of everything with spaces, everything that goes with spaces, what to do, what you need. She's like full hands on, and
Yeah.
and I say this, I respect
And
Pixie, hands on and boobs on, so
I think Pixie would totally agree with you there. If you want to follow her on Twitter to be part of her spaces, her handle is at Next on Stage One. Next on Stage One is also one of the names of one of the 2 or 3 podcasts that Pixie
that
is a
she's doing,
co-host
yeah.
for. This woman creates content at a pace that shames the rest of us independent creators. She's got Project Podcast with Pixie every Wednesday on her Twitter space where you
Yeah.
just go and learn about how to make a podcast. She's got the Next on Stage One podcast. It's
Hmm.
about the nightlife in the Denver industry. Pixie is one of those people that if you have an independent podcast and you are on Twitter, you have probably benefited from knowing Pixie in some way, even if you are unaware of it. So
Sure.
definitely go follow her at Next on Stage One.
I think she's the one that she came up to me. Well, not came up to me, not physically, but like Twitter wise, she came up to me and was like, I've listened to your podcast and it's like really cool. It's like, what episode do you want me to listen to next? And then I'm like, well, take your pick. There's like 100 of them. And just whatever it is. And then she's like, I like this one. I like this one. Like you should try to put your, like the ad. It's like you have to, well, you need to have like your ad like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, you know what? I'm new. I'm like, hey, I didn't know. So now I just put one ad in there and I put it towards the end when the episode is done, and there it is. So, and with this, we could, I will go and say, okay, we're, like say with this episode, and then when I go and put like audio, the only thing I edit is like basically put in sound bites, like in the beginning and the end. The audio is just audio. It's rough, uncut, boom, it's there. That's what it is. I'm not gonna go and tweak it just to make it better. I mean, that's how we're doing it. If you're going on a
Yeah.
radio station, you know, you go on a radio station, they don't edit the shit, they do it live. You know, that's what it is. It's live on a radio station. This is pretty much live on a podcast. As I've been
Yeah.
told, I am like the version of a late night talk show host. So, which I
I
think
dig
is
that.
true nowadays, because I'm writing down notes and doing all this other stuff, and there's a lot of people that want to come on the show. I'm like, cool. You know, you know how many episodes I do in the weekend? Now you get, well,
Well,
how many episodes do
that's
you
the
do?
cool thing about it.
Well, how many
Oh,
episodes do you
we
do?
do one a week. That's it. We do one a week every week. I mean, most weeks. So like we are coming up on our 50th episode. We've been podcasting for 1 year,
Yeah,
and there was not a month last year where we didn't release an episode. There were a couple of weeks where we didn't release an episode, but I think we put out like 39 episodes last week. Or last year. So 39 out of 52 weeks. We
yeah,
have a live show, and then I edit that over the weekend, and then it comes out Monday morning. So if you were watching through, you could only see us once a week,
yeah,
basically, because that's literally all the time that we have because we've got 3 people that we're trying to smash the schedules together of. So it's
yeah,
like there's one time a week that works for everybody, and we just haven't changed it yet. And again, our really cool live viewers are used to it now. We have a live viewer who lives in Germany, and she wakes up at like 4:30 her time, 4:30 in the morning to watch us every week, and it's like that is huge. Like we would have never guessed when we started podcasting that would happen. And
yeah,
to your point about feeling like a talk show host, I feel like having a podcast really makes you realize like everybody in the entertainment industry is just a person. Like
yeah,
they might be way better at what they do or way better at their one thing, but they're just a person.
yeah,
And anybody can create things. The caliber or the perceived caliber of those things might be different, but anybody can create a thing. And I think that's like the power of podcasting, really.
yeah. But it was like, it's just crazy how it goes, and I honestly I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, no, now that's what it was. So when you were saying about yeah, like you're on the 50th and all that. See, now I think I'm on like within a year and a half. I think I'm up to like 125.
Damn.
So, and the episodes I do is like I did one we call with somebody. That was something different. So I did one on Friday, and then I have one with you, and then like in another 2 hours I got one with a different person. And then on Sunday, I got something with another person on Sunday because I had to reschedule.
Mm.
And then again, probably the following weekend, it's probably going to be another 2 or 3 going on. And that content right there pretty much fills up my every week of
Oh yeah,
posting.
100%.
So I'm looking to, like, not have a bye week, I think. I don't
Man,
know
that would
why.
be
You
that would
know,
be nice. And we have talked about doing more pre-recorded shows, but like I said, it's hard to get off of that the live chat train. Like once you have live viewers in there going, I like, interacting with us during the show and commenting on
yeah,
the things that are going on. It's like it's hard to decide, okay, I don't want that anymore. So we've talked about maybe coming up with a new show that's pre-recorded because to your point, man, the way you're doing it is so much less stressful than the way that we do it. Like, because we do a live show and then I have 48 hours to get it to the pod apps, and then I have 1 week to promote that episode and get
yeah,
people to pay attention to it, and then we got to do another episode, and somewhere in there I got to find time to watch the episode that we're talking about and make notes about it and do all the research and create the graphics and create all the social media stuff for it.
yeah,
I love doing that. I am totally here for that. But it does at some point, it's like, yeah, that's a lot of stuff, and I'm starting to get burnt out. So I think that's where we take our breaks. And our new goal, to your point, is to have
yeah,
a couple of pre-recorded episodes so that we can take a break, but still put content out on those weeks. Like, hey, there's
yeah,
no live show this week, but there is an episode, and you can go check it out. And we
yeah.
haven't quite gotten there yet, but we're working on it.
It's like every episode that I do is it's so fun. I'm like you said, you interact with other people. You get to see what other people are. Like I talked to people that was from the UK, like Chat Smash. That was by far we caught a thing that I didn't even think about. Uh, and also that was it. But yeah, it's fun and as it is. So I got stuff down already, and we just talked about like a shitload of stuff, which is great. And I'm hoping that you had fun doing this, and I always have fun doing this shit. So, um, yeah, but I know you got like some stuff you gotta get doing, and please tell everybody where they can find you. I know we haven't really hit the mark of Cowboy Bebop, but we did a couple of we got into like a lot of stuff. Um, but we
I
always
well,
touch on that
and
stuff.
let me say just yeah. Just let me say first, man. I gotta say thank you so much for having me. It's a huge, refreshing pleasure for me to be able to just talk to somebody about anything that comes to my mind. Usually, we have to pay attention to the content because it's about a specific show. Like you were
Yeah,
saying, we have covered Firefly, we covered Cowboy Bebop, and we're covering live action Cowboy Bebop right now. But to be able to just sit down with somebody and have a conversation about not exactly that every week is
yeah,
really nice. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. And I gotta say, I have seen so many other podcasters just waiting for their episode art when they talk with you, and it has turned into like this cool community Twitter thing where people are waiting on they go, "Where's my tattoo squid art?
yeah.
Where's my episode art? I'm waiting on it."
Because
And then there's
there
just
was
this
a
pile of retweets that happen. It's so cool, man. Like I
they
am
had this
very
guy
excited to find out.
like real quick.
Yeah.
There's a guy, Big Nick, and
Yes.
he's like, oh, I can't wait for mine to come out, because I want to see this episode art. And then Barry Pleasures, who I was gonna have an episode, which I did, and she goes, wait, what? And she deals with like more not sexual stuff, but what makes you happy to be, you or something. It's like that kind of thing. How what makes you excited, and it's not sexual, it's something else. But she
Right.
thought I was probably going to put something that's sexual in the thing, which I haven't yet. I haven't put that out there, and I wasn't going to. Everything was like a different thing that we talked about. So, but like I said, tell everybody where they can find you, and you got anything new, anything good coming up, anything that's going to be like, oh my god, what the fuck, really? Yeah,
So if you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at Sudden But. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at Sudden But Inevitable Podcast. You can watch our show live every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time at youtube.com/twistmyarmpodcast. If you want to listen to Sudden But Inevitable, just go to whatever your favorite podcast app is and look up Sudden But Inevitable. We will pop up. Our first season, we covered Firefly. My friend Josh had never seen the show, but really enjoyed The Mandalorian. And I was watching it with him and going, dude, so much in Mandalorian is so much like Firefly. And he was like, I'm sure it is, but I've never seen Firefly. And I went, okay, I'm starting a podcast about this. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So we took him through one episode at a time. We had him watch the movie. And like I had mentioned at the end of that, he was really into it. So I said, okay, I know you don't like anime. I'm going to make you watch Cowboy Bebop now because I know you like space westerns, and anime space western seems like it would be the way to go. And he loved it. And now we're watching the live action Cowboy Bebop. By the time this episode comes out, we'll be getting close to the end of our live action Cowboy Bebop run. And we don't specifically have a planned start date for season 4 yet, but we may end up doing another little mini season in between. So what we did for our last mini season was we watched some movies. That's Highlander. There's a movie called Space Sweepers on Netflix that I highly recommend you check out. We watched Donnie Darko. We watched Logan's Run. And it was a lot of fun. We had I watched Slither for the first time ever. I had never seen Slither until this year, and we had a lot of fun. We brought on some of our guests from our past seasons and things like that, and we watched movies for the first time. The gist of our show is that I'm getting my friends to watch something that they didn't want to watch before, and then seeing if I can get them to like it, because that's kind of how I am. I'm one of those guys that's like, if you like this, you really should like this. It would make sense for you to like this thing. So definitely check out Sudden But Inevitable. And I gotta say, again, man, just thank you for having me. I've had a lot of fun, and I appreciate, like I said, being able to just sit down and talk about anything. It's so nice.
Yeah. This is what I like to do. And this, I'm like, hey, we just fucking, if we could be able to, like, I'm trying to see if we can be able to get, I know you're in a different state and everything else, but I'm trying to see if we can get like certain people to come together, not what the hell they call those things, not a convention, but just go to like a coffee shop, and just we all sit down, somebody gets a fucking recorder, just meet up, put a recorder down, like how comics go to like a Waffle House, or they go and they finish their thing and then they go to Waffle House and they just bullshit. And then they tell jokes to each other, hey, how about this joke or whatever. But then we just sit there and we talk about, so how's your show doing? Hey, how was yours? I'm like, oh, mine's good. Like, no, Squid, how many are you not going to put out yet? How many when are you going to stop? You're like the hardest working fucking podcaster. And, and if that's a name for me, I'm like, okay, cool.
Dude, I couldn't do daily. I can't even. You're definitely ahead of the game as far as I'm concerned. I could.
Well, no, that was in the beginning. That was in the beginning. I did like daily. That was the thing, because I was like, I'm just talking, whatever. Now that I have people coming on, now I gotta like
plan ahead,
plan accordingly for like. Plus, I gotta work during the week. Like my other work schedule, I had days off in between, so I worked 12 hours in the beginning, so I had the time to do an episode here, an episode there, an episode like in between. This one I gotta do like every weekend and try to fill it in as best I can. So folks, that's how you do it. You just go and have fun, but you want to keep busy, just keep on doing stuff, put yourself out there. Tell them that you're gonna do this, and you do it, and you're gonna have a lot of people like, hey, let's check it out, and see what we can do. And also you can find me, just go like, and it's gonna be pretty simple, just go to Linktree, linktr.ee / tattoo squid. Now I'm saying the spelling is different than what you would figure, so it's not TATTOO squid. It is TA2 SQUID, because honestly I could not get the whole tattoo squid the way it's spelled that you want to hear it on a license plate. So because I have the son of a bitch on a license plate now, so
brilliant.
Some way had to like, oh my god, you're a squid, and they thought I was a Navy SEAL, because of squid.
Oh, is that a gotcha?
Because I was at a 7-Eleven. I had my car parked backwards, and guy comes up and he goes, are you a Navy SEAL? I'm like, no, not really. No, I'm not. It's like, oh, I see you tattooed squid, and the squid is basically named for a SEAL. Well, for that kind of thing. And actually, there's a person that's on Twitter that I've been talking to on Discord, and she was saying, it's like, are you like in the Navy? And I'm like, no, I just like because the picture that you see right here, or wait,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
that you see there, where it has like a suit kind of thing. It's not like a wetsuit; it's just an actual suit. And props to on the Rumacher's son that made this. Don't remember his name. This is like an ongoing thing right now. I might have to look at my brain for some reason and make sure I'm okay. And everybody, we could, follow Jesse, go to Sudden But Inevitable. Aha, see, I wrote it down too.
Yeah.
All right, so, and plus I didn't have a pen. Thank God my girlfriend came in and gave me a fucking pen to write everything down. So I'm like, shit, I'm almost did the same thing like I did with your next favorite movie. I'm like, holy shit, I'm never like this. I'm like, I have shit going on here. Fucking A. Anyway, so everybody have a good, well, now it's afternoon, but I think it's what, morning-ish, afternoon-ish for you.
It's hitting afternoon as well. Yes, the only way I can tell what time it is anymore is what time my daughter wakes up and starts crying. So.
Oh, there you go. Your own human alarm clock.
Yes, sir.
So, but yeah, so have a good afternoon, and follow Tattoo Squid Podcast, follow Sudden But Inevitable, anywhere that you have podcasts that you listen to, now it's available. And see you on the flip side, which I have not said that in a long time. That was my key phrase I always fucking say, but I never been able to say it for a while. I don't know why.
I'm working on one for myself too. I don't have one yet, but I guess for tonight I'll just say, "See you, space cowboy."
There you go. Mr. Cowboy Bebop himself. Yeah. And soon he's gonna have a corgi as well. and a teenage kid we call it has a brain of a scientist, but looks like a 13-year-old.
You never know.
Yeah, I honestly, well, I'll tell you after we shut down this week, Claude. I'll tell you in a little bit, because yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to hear this one. Fuck, I'll just say it right now. There's a guy in our apartment complex, and he walks around and he kind of talks to himself. So I always call him the walker talker. So I'm like, oh, there goes walker talker, and he's always looking for somebody's like, cigarette butts, and he's but he lives here. He lives in the thing. I've seen him live here before. So I know he's not a homeless guy. He
Right.
dressed very nicely, but he just talks to himself. Isn't that right? Yeah, okay. So but I am working on having a band that's going to be in the background going, oh yeah, and
Oh yes.
if
That'd
I
be
am a
great.
late night talk show host, I need a band.
You got to have a guy that you can point to and he'll just laugh.
Yeah, like, yes, yeah. I don't know if Ed McMahon's gonna be available. No, he's dead. So sorry. Oh, and also, people, rest in peace. Let's all think about the people that we lost, celebrity wise. Louis Anderson, Meatloaf, Betty White, which I made a drastic fucking question about it, and I lost. So I'm not saying I made a bet on it, but it was just a fun question. Anyway, Bob Saget, and we're just like, it's the beginning of the year, and we're just losing fucking people left and right. So with that, have a good night. And I want to thank Jesse for coming on to the show, and we're going to talk a little bit afterwards, and then I got to get ready for the next one, which is podcast 27. Yeah, the next one's podcast 27, and I want to pick her brain. She's friends with 2010 Minutes, Tim McCarthy. So they've been doing shows together on on one show, and then she's on his, and I've been on his, and guy's an awesome fucking guy. Also, let me just put this out there. If anybody that has mental health, that has issues, that doesn't know what to do, call whatever hotline you could figure out, or what hotline you could find. And if you're on Twitter, go look for 20. That's 20 TIMINUTES. Go and look him up, and he will give you some insight of what to do if you don't know, because honestly, your life is much more much more important than anything that you have going on. If you think that you need money, and I can't get money, so I might well go and do this to myself. No, there's other ways to get around. Go talk to that guy, talk to Tim McCarthy. He'll give you insight of what to do. The guy donates to the Red Cross. He donates to the hotline. So this guy's on the up and up, and mental health is a tough shit. Is a pill that you cannot swallow. All right, that's not the right good phrase. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's a rough thing to do. It's a rough thing to have. You have a mental health. There's people that can help you work it out. So with that,
it's something everybody has to deal with, so there should be no stigma around it. If you need help, ask for help. That's totally cool.
Yeah, and there is numbers, which I don't have the number, but you look online, you'll find a whole bunch of hotline numbers to whatever you are in need of, or you have no control of, and possibly no cost to you. I don't know. I never had a problem, so I can't really say what to say about it, but just figure it out. All right, I'm done with my blabbing already. So okay, let's go and say sayonara, and see excuse me, Space Cowboy, and we're gonna talk to Jesse in a little bit, and then guys, check out the episode. All right, take it easy.